We've woken up to a very peaceful Harare. Obviously, a lot of tension, expectations are high, lots of, rumors, speculation about the results. And indeed, they are, results that people are sharing that come from polling stations, which are in a sort of way, official. But, the law in Zimbabwe says results will only be officially announced by the Zimbabwe Electoral Commission.
Right, Trevor, let's talk about the time frame here. Do we have an idea when elections will actually be released from the ZEC?
Sorry, Chris, the line is rather bad. If you could
Trevor,
this
again? Is Arnold. I was just asking, do we have a time frame for when results will be released for the presidential poll at least? Do we have an idea?
Arnold, the law says the results have to be announced in 5 days. And so far, officially, I think there's about 300 or so polling stations where results are known, but that's insignificant considering the fact that there's over 10,100 polling stations throughout the country. So it's really too early to call it. And if we go according to the law, the results should be out, Friday or Saturday. It's possible that the results will be out sooner than that.
Trevor, the word we're getting here is that the military have made it clear they're going to respect whoever wins this election. What do you think? Do you think they're going to stick to that?
I think so. We after what we saw in November, I think my sense is that a line was drawn in the sand in terms of the role of the military going forward. I think it's clear in my mind that supposing Nelson Chamisa wins, for instance, the military would have to be duty-bound and indeed to be expected by the Constitution of the Zimbabweans to accept Nelson Chamisa as the people's choice. There's no other way, and I think the regional community also will be expecting the same thing. I think the position right now is that Zimbabweans have no appetite for the military playing a political role. Zimbabweans are grateful for the fact that, the military helped get rid of Robert Mugabe, but Zimbabweans now expect the military to go back to the barracks.
Trevor, let's talk about the idea that we're seeing observers from the European Union, the United States, African Union, very star-studded indeed, from former President Johnson Sirleaf. Does this give the poll more credibility? And if so, does that mean that an African election is only credible if an outsider across the ocean gets to oversee it?
No, I think it was important that, all people that wanted to come and observe the election were given that opportunity, because it's essentially saying we have nothing to hide. So we've had the Commonwealth Observer Mission, we've had the African Observer Mission, there's a SADC Observer Mission, there's a lot of other observer missions related to churches and that kind of stuff. I think it's not a question of saying, the Americans or the British have to say our elections are legitimate. It's a question of saying the SADC protocol, which is a result of our African presidents in the Southern African region coming together and saying this is the election protocol that must be observed. So we do have a strong SADC observer mission that is waving that SADC protocol book at the Zimbabwean authorities, and that's important. It's not about wanting the elections to be endorsed by the British or the Americans. It's about us as people. Do we think it was legitimate? I went and voted yesterday. It was peaceful all around. People were jovial, were, highly expectant and so forth. So in that regard, the voting process itself, to me, has been largely peaceful. And I think generally people had an opportunity to express themselves in a free environment.
Trevor, one last question here. You're a veteran entrepreneur as well as a journalist. What do you want to see the next new government tackle in business first up?
Well, Well, I think the most important thing, Arnold and Chris, is that we've been a pariah state for a long time. Firstly, we need to be accepted and indeed engage with the international community, including our African brothers and sisters, behave in a manner that is expected of any civilized people, and begin to be seen as a serious investment destination by international, regional, and local investors. We want to see foreign investors coming in. We want to see investors, businessmen like myself, being able to access loans to be able to expand our businesses, because that's not been possible. We want to see jobs created. I mean, we live in a country where in excess of 75 to 85% of the people don't have formal jobs. That is a dangerous ticking time bomb to have in any country. So we want to see people being able to express themselves, being able to go about their lives without fear, the kind of fear that we've endured over the past 20 or so years of Robert Mugabe's rule.
Thank you very much, Trevor Ncube.